from the start of first, second grade up until 16 was sort of a blur because so many bad things happened in my life. I was abused by family members. Physically, I was molested, physically abused by my father, definitely manipulated and controlled by the church, by Jehovah's Witnesses, because my parents were both in the church. When I was about 16, I invited my friend, my crush, over to our house, and we lit up a fire and we were, just hanging out as teenagers do. And my mom came home. She was really upset. I don't know why she was upset, but she knew something was up. My friend was outside, but I wanted to go into my room to grab her bag because her purse was in there. We had been writing letters to each other for so long, for months. And I distinctly remember her hiding those letters in her purse and keeping some cigarettes in her purse. And so I go in to open the door of my bedroom and it was locked. This has never happened before, but on this particular day, my mom decided to go in there and I knew she was in there and she was rummaging through my stuff. So when she finally opened the door, she shoves the letters in my face and is asking me, "What is this?" She proceeded to kick her out of the house. I started crying, I was hysterical. I was like, why would you do that to my friend? She's in our house, like, stop. But she was like, you girl, get out of my house. And I was completely embarrassed. After my friend had left, my mom grabbed coat hangers and started throwing them at me and trying to hit me. But I was in so much shock, I couldn't even feel, the pain. This was it, she was outing me and it was by force. So when my dad came home, they asked me to come to the bedroom and my dad was completely silent. He was reading the letters and I asked them to give me the letters back and they said, no, we're keeping them. And she was like, I found cigarettes, and cigarettes didn't even matter at that point. It was the letters, it was the fact that their daughter was gay. And she said, I kind of always knew it. And I said, well then if you always knew it, why are you surprised? At that point, my mom decided she was gonna take me out of school. And she was like, no more school for you. Come and work with us. It was just a way of them keeping me away from my life. Working and being around your parents when you should be in school, it's weird. It's a weird feeling. It's kind of like, wow, my life is over. I'm never gonna be able to leave. What am I gonna do? And they started treating me differently. I didn't feel welcomed. I didn't feel loved. And my mom stopped caring about me. And then, this is really hard. The guy that married into my family, he married my aunt. And he would touch me in inappropriate ways. And my parents still had him over for dinner after I told them what had happened. It was really tough to watch your parents get along and have drinks and act like nothing had happened after your own child, and after this had happened so many times. No kid should ever have to go through that. That has been a generational thing that has been going on in my family line for so long, and nobody has ever said anything about it. My grandfather was extremely abusive. I heard the worst things about him. And my dad's father was extremely hateful towards his children too. He would beat them too, so I get it. I mean, I understand, it was going down the family, these traits and, this anger that nobody would speak about. After working with my parents, I decided I was gonna run away. So I packed up my things, I was standing in the hallway, and my mom comes to the hallway and sees me with some bags. And she goes, you're leaving, huh? And I go, yeah. She's like, okay. And then she starts crying and she walks away. And then my dad comes and he's like, you're really gonna do this to your mom? And I go, you guys don't need me here anyway, so I'm just gonna go. And so he followed me out and we were standing outside in the yard. And he just swings a balled up fist like this across my face. Yeah. And I had a beanie on and it just fell on the floor. And I just kind of like, gather myself and just look at him. And at this point, I was just so numbed out that I just said, okay, like, this is it, I'm gonna go now. And he was like, you really think it's okay that, like, you're grabbing on each other's boobs and stuff, like that's what you like? And I was like, you have it all wrong, like you have no idea. And so he was like, fine, leave. I don't ever want to see you again. And so I walked away. So I was living with a bunch of guy friends at trailer homes, and like we were jumping from place to place because we never had a stable home, but we just always stayed together. And we shared food and we shared everything. And I was mainly sleeping on floors or like a couch, or I was just living a pretty nomadic lifestyle. I met this girl, her name's Shanna, and we had almost a year-long relationship until she cheated on me with my best friend. I called my mom and told her that I was gonna need to come back home, and she said, are you ready to come back home? Are you upset about all the things that you've done? Are you gonna repent? And I was like, hell no, but I said yes. I was like, yeah, I'm ready. Again, the same thing happened. Had to go to church. The punishment was, you're coming to church, but nobody can say hi to you. Nobody can talk to you. Nobody can sit next to you. You can't talk to anyone. Your parents can't even talk to you. Your siblings can't talk to you. My only way was, hey, let me have a boyfriend so that I could at least leave the house and have a life a little bit. It was too much to be with a guy that I didn't like, and it was a lot for me to be lying to him. But that's what my mom wanted, and I wanted to please her so badly. He did ask me to marry him, and I said yes, and a few weeks later I told him it wasn't gonna happen. My mom walked into my room one day, and she said, you have to marry him. And I said, no, I don't. She said, yes, you have to marry him. And I was like, I'm not gonna marry him, and if you wanna marry him, you can marry him, but I'm not marrying him. And I was like, that's not what I like, and that's a lie. And she said, well, one thing that you don't know is I married your father without loving him, and I had to have sex with him without loving him. So I said, that's not me, and I'm not gonna do that. I did date other men, but it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like it felt when I was in love with like the girls that I loved. After everything that's happened, I don't think I can continue staying. And I think my mom knew. She pulled me over to the side one day and was like, I know you're gonna leave again. She just starts crying, and this was one of the last times we spoke. And she says, I don't get it, like, did we do anything wrong? And I said, yes, you did everything wrong. You ruined my life, and you know what Dad did to me, but you continue to let him do it. And you know how all these people hurt me, and you continue to be their friends. This is all just very hypocritical of both of you. It was wrong, and I can't live with that anymore. And I was like, stop crying. Like, you're not the victim here. They had very narcissistic tendencies, and so that was it. The last time that I spoke to my dad, he almost laid his hands on me again. I had already been out in the world. I think I was starting to become my own person at that point. He didn't know that, and he pushed me up against the wall, and he put his hand out like this, and he was gonna hit me. And I said, do it.
Motherfucker.
Hit me. I saw his face kind of like go a little confused, right? And then he kind of stood back a little bit. And I was like, that's right, you're not gonna do shit. And he knew that he was dealing with a woman that had a fire inside her. He knew that he couldn't fuck with me anymore. I think he wanted to have freedom, but he never seeked it out or tried to live his life outside of my mom, because they were married really early in their lives. I mean, they were running away from also their parents because they're still in this cycle and this pattern in their family. That's why I have compassion for them. They probably never even met a gay person going to school. It was Mexico in the countryside. It was very dangerous for you to be gay back then also. But either my dad could have been gay or my mom could have been gay. I think anybody could be. I think it's just a matter of you allowing yourself to go there, allowing yourself to feel your feelings. I came to terms with being gay because of that love that I felt. It was so deep. It was like, wow, this is love. And I felt it so deeply that that's all I wanted, because I was like, I'd rather have a woman in my life and be happy for like 2 years than live the rest of my life as a Jehovah's Witness and die and go to heaven or hell or whatever. Like, I would have rather been true to myself and lived that life, because I felt that love and it was just so strong. And I think that's what kept me strong. That's what kept me going.